I always believed that no matter how far children go, they remember who stood at the beginning of their lives. I was wrong. I didn't find out about my son's wedding from a phone call. I didn't hear it from family. I didn't even hear it from him. I found out while scrolling on my phone, half awake, coffee growing cold beside me. A photo appeared. White chairs. Flowers. Smiling faces under soft golden lights. At first, I didn't understand why my heart started racing. Then I saw him. My son. Standing tall in a tailored suit, laughing freely, his arm wrapped around a woman I barely knew. Around them were people clapping, celebrating, raising glasses. Everyone was there. Except me. I stared at the screen, convinced there had been a mistake. Maybe this was an engagement party. Maybe a rehearsal. Then I read the caption. Best day of our lives. The room went silent. No invitation. No warning. No explanation. I raised my son alone after his father passed away suddenly. There was no backup plan. No financial safety net. Just me, a grieving child, and a promise I made to myself: he will never feel alone. I worked extra shifts. I skipped vacations. I smiled through exhaustion so he wouldn't see fear. And now, I didn't even exist in his biggest moment. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I texted. I just saw the pictures. Are you married? Hours passed. When he finally replied, it was one sentence. Mom, please don't make this difficult. Difficult. As if I was an inconvenience. I asked if I had done something wrong. If there had been a misunderstanding. If I could at least meet his wife properly. The reply came quickly this time. My wife's parents paid for everything. They deserved to invite who they wanted. That word cut deeper than any insult. Deserved. As if love had a price tag. As if raising a child was optional. I didn't respond. I cried instead, quietly, like I had learned to do over the years. Weeks passed. No apology. No explanation. No follow-up message. Then one morning, an envelope arrived in the mail. Certified delivery. My name typed neatly on the front. Inside was a document. Not a letter. An invoice. $65,000. Itemized. Cold. Calculated. Charges for education expenses. Living costs during college. Insurance payments. Medical emergencies. At the bottom, a note. Since you believe you should have been part of our wedding, we believe it's fair you acknowledge the financial support you chose to provide. I read it 3 times. My son had sent me a bill. For being his mother. I didn't scream. I didn't faint. I felt something worse. Clarity. This wasn't anger. This was entitlement. And in that moment, I realized something painful but necessary. The child I raised with sacrifice was now a man measuring love in money. And he had no idea what he had just started. I could have argued. I could have begged. But instead, I did something that terrified him. I stopped reacting like a mother and started responding like an adult he underestimated. I didn't tear the invoice. I didn't throw it away. I placed it carefully on the table and stared at it like it was a mirror, one that showed me a version of my son I never wanted to see. For days, I said nothing. That silence confused him more than any argument ever could. Then I sent a single message. I've received the inverse. I'll need some time to review it properly. No anger. No sarcasm. No guilt. Just calm. Within minutes, my phone rang. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then came the texts. Mom, you're taking this too seriously. It was just a point I was making. You don't need to get emotional. That last one almost made me laugh. Emotional? He was the one who turned love into a ledger that I finally answered his call that evening. He sounded nervous, trying to sound confident, but failing. Why are you acting like this? He asked. You know I didn't mean it literally. I let the silence stretch. You sent me an itemized bill, I said calmly. That's very literal. He sighed, irritated. My wife thinks it's fair, he said. We're starting our life together. We need boundaries. There it was. Not we as mother and son, but we as husband and wife. I realized then that I wasn't just excluded from a wedding. I had been replaced in his priorities. I told him I needed time. After the call ended, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in years. Inside were folders, old, worn, heavy. Documents I had kept without intention. Receipts. Bank statements. Medical bills. School letters. Calendars with scribbled notes like a double shift, a parent-teacher meeting, a hospital again. I hadn't saved them to prove anything. I saved them because at the time, my life was survival. Now, they told a story. I spent days organizing them. Not out of spite. Out of precision. If he wanted numbers, I would show him what numbers couldn't capture. I calculated unpaid childcare. Lost promotions because I couldn't relocate. Rent assistance when he moved back home. Emergency flights. Therapy sessions I paid for quietly. Then I created a document. Not an inverse. A statement. At the top, I wrote, "This is not a demand for payment. This is a record of what was given freely." The total came to $418,000. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't inflate. If anything, I underestimated. At the bottom, I added one paragraph. If we are now measuring relationships by cost, then this is the cost of raising a child alone with love and responsibility. No payment is expected. Only understanding. I sent it by certified mail. Not email. Not text. Paper carries weight. 2 days later, I received my first call from someone unexpected. His wife. Her tone was sharp, controlled, rehearsed. She accused me of manipulation, of emotional blackmail, of trying to embarrass them. I listened. Then I said quietly, "You charged me for being your husband's mother. I simply showed you the receipt." She didn't respond. She hung up. What happened next surprised me. People started asking questions. Not me, him. Friends noticed tension. Family members whispered. And eventually, someone shared the truth. Not dramatically. Factually. And once facts enter a story built on entitlement, it starts to crack. I thought sending my statement would end the conflict. Instead, it started something far bigger. Because the truth didn't just reach my son. It reached the people who had only heard his version. I never intended for the situation to become public. I didn't post online. I didn't message relatives. I didn't try to defend myself. But silence has a strange way of inviting other voices. About a week after I mailed my statement, I began receiving messages that felt different. Not accusations. Not comfort either. Just questions. Are you okay? Did something happen with your son? I heard there was tension after the wedding. I answered vaguely. We're sorting things out privately. But stories don't stay private when only one side is speaking. Soon, I realized my son had been talking. Carefully. Selectively. Without names, but with implications. He painted a picture of a mother who felt entitled. A mother who couldn't let go. A mother who made his marriage stressful. The irony was painful. I had been erased quietly. Now I was being rewritten loudly. Then came the message that changed everything. It was from a woman I didn't recognize at first. Hello. This is Margaret. I'm Daniel's wife's mother. I hope it's okay that I reach out. My hands trembled slightly as I read. She continued. There are some things we recently learned that don't align with what we were told. I would like to understand, if you're willing. I stared at the screen for a long time. This was the family who had deserved my seat. The family who paid for the wedding. The family whose generosity had apparently erased my existence. I took a breath and replied, I'm willing to talk. I won't argue. We met at a quiet cafe. Margaret arrived with her husband. They looked uncomfortable, not angry, not defensive. Just uncertain. After a few minutes of polite conversation, she leaned forward. We were told you chose not to attend, she said carefully. That you didn't approve of the marriage. I smiled sadly. I wasn't told there was a wedding. The silence that followed was heavy. I didn't dramatize. I didn't cry. I told them everything, slowly, fact by fact. How I found out online. What my son said when I asked. The inverse. The context. I even showed them a copy of my statement, not as proof, but as clarity. Margaret's hands shook as she read. Her husband removed his glasses and rubbed his face. That's not what we were told, he said quietly. I nodded. I assumed so. They apologized. Not defensively. Genuinely. They admitted they believed I was distant. Cold. Financially irresponsible. Someone who would have made the day uncomfortable. The picture hurt, but I understood it. It's easy to believe a story that benefits your child. Before we left, Margaret said something I'll never forget. If I had known, you would have been sitting in the front row. I smiled. It's okay, I said. I wasn't asking for a seat. I was mourning the loss of being seen. The next day, everything shifted. My son called. Not angry. Not confident. Quiet. He asked, did you talk to my in-laws? Yes, I replied. He exhaled sharply. They're upset, he said. They feel lied to. I didn't respond immediately. Then he said something that finally revealed the truth. I just wanted my new family to see me differently, he admitted. Not as the kid from a broken home. Not as someone who came from struggle. That's when it hit me. He didn't erase me out of hate. He erased me out of shame. But shame doesn't justify cruelty. And it doesn't excuse rewriting history. I told him calmly, "You didn't just hide your past. You charged me for it." He had no answer. I thought exposure would bring an apology. Instead, it revealed something deeper, regret mixed with fear. And the next move wasn't his. It was mine. When people imagine healing, they picture apologies and tearful hugs. That's not what happened. After my son admitted the truth, that he had erased me because he was ashamed of where he came from, everyone expected me to soften. Friends hinted that this was my moment to forgive. His in-laws suggested we move forward. Even my own sister said, "At least he called." But I didn't feel relief. I felt clarity. For years, I had confused endurance with love. I stayed silent to keep peace. I accepted distance so he could grow. I told myself that being a good mother meant absorbing pain quietly. That belief had cost me more than I realized. So when my son asked to meet, I agreed, but on my terms. We met in a public place, neutral and quiet. He looked older than I remembered. Tired. The confidence he wore so easily in photos was gone. He started talking immediately. "I know I messed up," he said. "I shouldn't have sent the inverse. That was extreme." Extreme. Not cruel. Not humiliating. Just extreme. I waited. He continued, "I felt like you expected access to my life just because you're my mom." That's when I finally spoke. "I didn't expect access," I said calmly. "I expected respect." He looked away. "I spent years stepping back so you could stand forward," I continued. "I didn't insert myself. I didn't demand anything. And still, you treated me like a debt." He tried to explain the pressure. The image. The expectations of his wife's family. The fear of being seen as a less than. I listened. Then I told him something he wasn't prepared to hear. "I'm not ready to rebuild a relationship," I said. "I'm ready to rebuild boundaries." He looked shocked. "What does that mean?" he asked. "It means we don't pretend this didn't happen," I replied. "It means I won't chase you for invitations or updates. It means you don't get access to me when it's convenient." Silence stretched between us. "I love you," he said quietly. "I know," I replied. "But love without accountability becomes entitlement." He asked if I would forgive him. I didn't answer immediately. "Forgiveness isn't a switch," I said. "It's something that grows after behavior changes." He nodded slowly. Weeks passed. Something surprising happened. He didn't disappear. He called occasionally, not to vent, not to justify, but to ask how I was. When he spoke about his wife, he didn't blame her. He took responsibility. He apologized again. This time, without explanation attached. Then one afternoon, another envelope arrived. My heart tightened as I opened it. Inside was the original inverse. Every charge crossed out in black ink. At the bottom, a single sentence written by hand. "I was wrong to measure love. I'm learning how to honor it instead." No demand. No request. Just acknowledgement. I sat with that paper for a long time. This wasn't redemption. But it was a beginning. Still, I didn't rush back into his life. I chose something radical. I chose myself. For the first time in decades, I stopped living in reaction to someone else's needs. I traveled. I rested. I reconnected with friends. I learned what my life looked like when it wasn't built around proving my worth, and something changed. When my son called, it wasn't because he needed something. It was because he wanted connection. That difference mattered. I thought setting boundaries would push him away. Instead, it forced him to grow. But the real test came later. When he asked for something money could never buy. Months passed before my son asked me for anything again. Not money. Not help. Not forgiveness. Time did its quiet work. Our conversations became steady but careful. We spoke about weather, work, ordinary things. He never assumed closeness. I never chased it. For the first time in our relationship, we were equals, two adults choosing whether to stay connected. Then one evening, he called and said, "Mom, can we meet?" Something in his voice told me this wasn't casual. We met at the same cafe as before. This time, he arrived early. No rehearsed confidence. No defensiveness. He looked at me and said, "I need to ask you something, and I don't know if I deserve to." I waited. He swallowed. "My wife and I are thinking about starting a family." The words landed softly, but the weight behind them was enormous. I realized something. He continued, "I don't actually know how to be a good parent. I know how to succeed, how to earn, how to impress, but not how to love without conditions." My throat tightened. He looked down at the table. "I charged you because I didn't understand what you gave. I thought providing was the same as loving. I was wrong." He finally looked up. "I want my child to know their grandmother. But more than that, I want to learn from you." That was the moment. Not when he crossed out the bill. Not when he apologized. But when he asked to learn. I took a breath before answering. "I won't teach you by rescuing you," I said gently. "I'll teach you by example." He nodded. "I don't expect anything," he said quickly. I don't want to repeat what I almost destroyed." I reached across the table, not to erase the past, but to acknowledge the present. "That's where parenting actually begins," I said. We didn't hug dramatically. We didn't cry loudly. But something settled between us. In the months that followed, he showed change, not with words, but behavior. He checked in without obligation. He included me without pressure. He corrected people when they spoke badly about me. And one day, he did something that mattered more than any apology. He told his wife's family the truth. Not defensively. Honestly. He told them about the nights I worked double shifts. The sacrifices. The inverse. His mistake. He didn't ask them to like me. He asked them to respect me. When his wife became pregnant, he asked if I wanted to be involved. I said yes, but with boundaries. I would be present, not responsible. Loving, not self-sacrificing. And for the first time, he understood that love isn't proven by exhaustion. It's proven by consistency. The $65,000 bill was never paid. It didn't need to be. Because the real debt, the one no inverse could capture, was finally acknowledged. Looking back, I realized something important. I didn't lose my son at his wedding. I lost him when he learned to value appearances over people. And I didn't get him back by fighting. I got him back by refusing to shrink. Final message. Some parents give everything and ask for nothing. Some children grow up and forget that gift. But when love is finally understood, not measured, not charged, not owed, it becomes something money can never replace. I didn't raise him to pay me back. I raised him to grow. And eventually, he did.